Okay guys, so before we get started, these are the items I'll be using for this tutorial. The first thing is a ball of yarn. I'll be using this Yarnspiration Carrot Skinny Cake. This yarn is 100% acrylic, lightweight number 3. It's called Frosted Mint. If you can see there, I will put all the information in the description box of the details of this yarn. Okay, the other thing I'll be using is a 5mm crochet hook. I believe for this they're recommending a 4, but I'll be using a 5 because I would like my work to be a little bit on the loose side. And you'll also need a scissors to cut your strands at the end. Okay, so let's get started. So to start off the first row of this project, we're going to do a slip knot, just like that, and then we're going to chain up 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and then we're going to count 4 stitches from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and in this 5th one here, we're going to do a treble crochet. So treble crochet, you yarn over twice, so you have 3 loops on your hook. Go ahead and go into the 5th stitch from the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through the final 2. Okay, just like that. And then you're going to do another treble crochet in the next stitch. So in this stitch here, you're going to repeat the same thing. Yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and then you're going to do the last and final one in this last stitch here. So that's a 3rd treble crochet, just like that. Okay, all right, so as you can see here, you have 4 total. So there's 1, which was the chain 4 that we left out when we worked back this way. You have 2, 3, and 4, so you have 4 treble crochets total because this chain 4 counts as a treble crochet. Okay, and then what you're going to do to start off the 2nd row is you're going to chain 7 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you're going to hold your project like this, so that the last row is kind of facing downwards like that. And you're going to do the same thing. You're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, and in this 5th one here, you're going to do your treble crochet. Okay, and then you'll do another treble crochet in the 6th stitch from the hook. See, and then your final treble crochet in that 7th stitch from the hook. Okay, okay, so when you hold it like this, it almost looks like 2 cups, 2 bra cups, just kind of, you know, facing downwards like this. And if you flip it up like this, it looks like 2 bra cups facing upwards. Okay, and now that you have that, you're going to use your left hand and flip the 1st row over like this, and you're going to take the 2nd row that you just created and you're going to slip stitch in that very 1st space there like this, just like that. Okay, so now it looks like we just joined the 2 cups and it's now just one big row like that, but we're going to create a 2nd part of this 2nd row. Okay, so we're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to do 3 treble crochets in this space here. So that's 1, 2, and 3, just like that. And as you can see, I'm keeping my work very loose like that. Okay, so now this is the 1st row of our work and this is the 2nd row. So we went from 1 cluster in the 1st row to 2 clusters in the 2nd row, and then of course because it's a corner to corner, it's going to increase by 3 and then 4 and then 5 and so on and so forth, and your work is going to go up like this. Okay, so now that we're here, we're going to go ahead and chain 7 again. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. And by the way, when you're at the end like this, you will always chain 7. When you're working in the middle, you're chaining 4, because you're creating the first cluster by chaining 4 and then doing your 3 in the space. Okay, so that's just a tip so you can remember how to do it. And again, we're going to count 1 2 3 4, and in the 5th we're going to do our treble crochet right there. And then we're going to do a second treble crochet in the 6th stitch from the hook, and then another treble crochet in the 7th. Okay, because we always use the first 4 as our first treble crochet, just like that. Okay, so 1 2 3 4. Then what we're going to do here is we're going to flip this work like this, so we can bring in our 3rd row, and we will connect it just right in this space here. So that gap here, we're going to connect it with a slip stitch like that. Okay, so that's now is the first cluster of our 3rd row. Then we're going to chain 4 1 2 3 4, and then, as you guessed it, we're going to do 3 treble crochets in this gap here. And remember, this chain 4 counts as 1 treble crochet, so we have 2 3, and finally we have 4. And then, because we're going to move on to finish the 3rd cluster of the 3rd row, we're going to do another slip stitch right here, chain 4 1 2 3 4. Then again, just as you have guessed, we're going to do 3 more treble crochets in that space here, and that gives us our 3rd cluster of the 3rd row, just like that. There you go. So as you can see, if I place my work down flat on the table like that, that is pretty much what you have. Row 1, row 2, row 3, and then if we move on to the row 4, it's going to have 4 clusters right here. And so I will do that final 4th row there before I let you guys build on your work. So we chain 7, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, and then 1 2 3 4 5. In this 5th we do our treble crochet there, and then our 2nd treble crochet right here, and our final 4th treble crochet right here. Okay, so as you can see, and then we're going to flip our work like this, and then slip stitch here. Okay, and don't worry if this last, I guess the chain 4 kind of bends in a little bit as you work. You're just gonna kind of play with your work like that, and it's gonna kind of start to straighten itself. So don't worry about it if it's bending inwards. Okay, and then we chain 4 1 2 3 4, and then we're going to do our 3 treble crochets in that space. So that's 2 and 3, and of course we have 4 total including our chain 4. Then we will slip stitch right there, and then repeat 1 2 3 4. And if you're a beginner crocheter, just take your time and do this as slow as you can so that you get it right. But this is pretty much a repeat from the second row. Like, there's nothing more complicated than this. It's the very easy corner to corner project. And if you take your time, you will be able to create this, and then you get into the groove of just going with it, and you will see how quick this work builds up. It builds up really fast. And then last one here. Okay, so we will examine it together to see how far we have come. So as you can see here, okay, so we have 4 rows total, this being 1 2 3 and 4. And like I said, you'll keep building up. You'll have 5 rows, you'll have 5 clusters in the next, and then it will keep building up like that. So I will let you guys go ahead and build up this corner to corner shawl. You will literally just do this until you have the size that you're looking for. And then when you get to there, you will stop. We will do a border in this. I haven't decided yet what kind of border to do, but we will do a nice looking border for this. Or for most cases, if you want to leave it like this, it actually is a really good pattern to begin with that doesn't require a border per se. But if we want to put one, we can go ahead and do that. But look at this, in both sides it looks exactly the same. Okay, all right, so go ahead and build up your work to the size that you're looking for, and come back when you're done, and I'll show you guys how to move on to the next. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay guys, welcome back. So I have completed the number of rows that I need for this shawl. And just to quickly recap, this is where we started off right here. As you can see, this is where our corner started, and we worked up all the way. And for me, I have 52 rows total, and this is the top of it here. As you can see, it's really big to show the whole thing on camera, but you can kind of gauge it and see how, like, this is, it's huge. The top of the triangle is about 186 inches long, so it's pretty big. So if that is what you want, of course, stop at the length that you're looking for your shawl. And what you can also do is you can just kind of end your work here, and it's done. As you can see, this is how it looks. This is how the edges look like without any bordering. And if you look at the top looks like this. And this is, for me, usually when I do these corner to corner projects, I love to leave the top the way it is, because it looks like it's already bordered. It looks like that's a border right then. It looks really nice. But usually the edges are the ones that you may want to do borders, or you could leave it like this. So if you want to leave your shawl as is, this is the end of my 52nd row. Then you would just literally fasten these off here, cut it off, and you're done. Like, your work is done. But I'm going to do border for my shawl, and I have decided to actually change the color and do the border in this cream color. It's not the same yarn, but it's the same consistency in terms of the size. So it's actually the same size, and also you can see it looks like it's the same yarn. Okay, this is from Pound of Love, and as I told you guys the other day, this is from, I believe, let me see here, this one is from Yarnspirations, Skinny Cakes Carron. Okay, so they're two different brands, but the touch to it, everything feels just exactly the same. So I want to do kind of like a brighter border for this, so I'm going to be using this color to do the border. And just one more thing to mention is I used pretty much a full skein like this, a full ball, and then I went into my second ball and I barely touched it. So that is how much I have. So if I made this just a couple of rows left, if I made this a couple of rows less, I wouldn't even have needed to touch my my second ball. But I wanted to make it just a tiny bit bigger, so then I went into my second ball. So just for your own information there, okay? So that's how much I have left in the second ball, okay? So you can use this to do something else. All right, so that's pretty much it there. So what I will do here is I will cut these off, and then we can move on to the next row of doing the border. So I will just go ahead and cut these off here. It's right there. And I'm going to put that away, and I'm going to connect my other color. So, 1 second. So we're going to connect the color, the new color here. And also if you have, obviously your second ball has a lot of yarn left and you want to do the border in the same colors, you can go ahead and use your second ball of yarn to do that. The change of color is completely optional, and so is doing the borders in your work. You don't have to do these steps. Technically you would have been done here if you did not want to do the next steps. Okay, I'm just gonna undo this last part here and redo it just so it's nice and tight. Okay, so there we are, and then I'm going to take my white color, and it's cream. This color is cream. I'll get the exact name and put it in the description box of the video in case you're looking to know. Okay, and then what I'll do here is I will chain 4, so 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we'll just tuck these tails away. And what I will do here is, if you turn your work, so we're not working on top anymore, we're pivoting it to the side, so we're going towards the right hand side of the triangle. Okay, so in this space here I am going to go ahead and do a single crochet there. Okay, so what I'm doing here right now is I'm creating spaces where I will actually do the actual border like this. So this is, and then you're going to just continue to do the same thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, going to go into this gap here, just right here, and do your single crochet. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, go into this gap here. So what you're doing is you're just using the gaps that were already created by your rows and putting a single crochet between each of the rows that we had from doing our corner to corner. So 1, 2, 3, 4, go right into this next here, single crochet. And I hope you can see that properly. We have quite a big work here now, so it's harder to have everything fit on camera, so hopefully you can see it. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna go right into here and do a single crochet. So as you can see, this is pretty much what I'm doing. I'm creating these gaps here where I'm going to do the actual corner. So what I want you to do is I want you to do that all the way down until you get back to the corner. So this is where we started our work off. So as you can see, this is where we started off our corner. So you're going to come all the way to here. When you get here, come back and I'll show you how to do the very sharp corner here, and then we'll repeat the same thing all around this way. Okay, so go ahead and do that, and I'll see you when you get to the bottom of the triangle. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, so this is the bottom corner of the triangle here. So as you can see, I have done my base for the border here. Okay, so one side of the triangle is complete. I'm right in the bottom. And what we're going to do here is you're going to chain 4 just like you've done all here. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm just gonna make that a little bit tighter here. I went loose. So 2, 3, 4, and then you're going to put a single crochet right on top here. So just right in here, there's a gap you can grab in there and do your single crochet just like that. Okay, and then you're going to do chain 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're going to pivot your work this way, and then you're going to gap your rows here, and between this very first box and these 2 next boxes, you're going to do your single crochet there, just kind of like how we did on this side where you put a single crochet between each of the boxes. Okay, so the reason we did this like this here is that we want to maintain that peak here. We want to maintain this sharpness in the bottom of your shawl here. Okay, And then of course you're going to continue by doing your chain 4, single crochet, chain 4, oops, chain 4, single crochet right in here. And again, you're just going to go ahead and repeat exactly what we did on this side, on this other side of the triangle, okay, on this side. And you're going to go all the way to this very top corner right here. When you get here, so I am all the way at the corner of the triangle here, so I will go ahead and do the last one here before we start the actual border. Just the other thing, I'm actually not gonna do the white border on top here because there's no need to repeat this again. It's already there, and I think it's good contrast that it will have this dark as the top of the triangle, and then we're going to do the white border on the sides of the triangle. So I think I'll leave it like that. So, but to go ahead and move to that, I'm going to finish this off here. So I'm going to do my chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then right on top here, I'm just going to do my single crochet, just like we've been doing with all of these here. And with this one here, you just need to kind of play with it a little bit, just kind of wiggle around with it like that, just so it sits nice there. And so we're going to start the actual bordering, which means we're working back towards this side. And to do so, I'm going to chain 1, turn my work this way, okay? So I'm going to work back just where I came from. And now that I have done my chain 1, in this space here, this space that we created here, I'm going to do slip stitch, just like that. Okay, and then I'm going to do a chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to do my 3 treble crochets in here to make it 4 with the chain 4 that I just created. So this is probably looking very familiar because we're doing the exact same box stitch that we did for the whole shawl. Okay, so there you go. So that's the chain 4 that makes 1 treble crochet, and then you create 1, 2, 3 more to make it 4. And then we're going to go into the next space to the left. We're going to do our slip stitch. Okay, so this is how it looks like, just right in the corner. And then you're going to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then do your extra 3 treble crochets to make it 4 with the chain 4. Just like that. Okay, so that's how it looks like. And then you're going to move on to the next gap here and do your slip stitch. Then you start with a chain 4 in that space and do your treble crochet to create another box stitch there, to create another box, just like that. And then you move on to the next space, do your slip stitch first, chain 4, 3 treble crochets to make it 4 with the chain 4. And this is pretty much what you're going to repeat all along the side of your triangle. Okay, so let me finish this here. So this is pretty much how your border would look like. So let's place it down. So as you can see, this is the top of our work where we finished earlier, and then we're going down on the side to imitate these boxes that we see up here. As you can see, that's the side, it matches this, and we're going to do this all down the side of this triangle all the way to here. So this is the corner. When you get to this corner here, when you finish your treble crochets in this box here, come back and I'll show you guys what to do in this corner before you go ahead and repeat the same thing in the opposite side of the triangle. Okay, so go ahead and create your border like that, and when you're done, when you hit the bottom here, come back and I'll show you guys how to do the next step. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, so I'm at the bottom corner of the triangle here. Okay, so as you can see, this side I've done the borders, and this side is not done yet, so this is where we're going to next. So just to show you guys quickly how it looks like, so this side is all completed and it looks just like that. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how to do this bottom corner here, and then I'm going to have you complete the other side just like we did this side. So just right in this corner here I did so I have 3 treble crochets in that box. I'm going to add one more just like that. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and just go straight to the other side of this corner, and we're going to go ahead and do our slip stitch there, do our chain 4, and then do our 3 treble crochets in that same gap to create our box border here. And I'll just show you quickly how it looks before I ask you guys to finish the border on that side. Okay, so this is how your bottom corner should look like. Okay, so this is how it looks like. It's like these 2 boxes just right beside each other like that. I'm just gonna stretch these out a little bit here for the yarn to straighten up. Okay, so we're gonna fasten these up later, but this is how it looks like. And then you're just going to continue to do the treble crochet boxes all back, going the opposite way, and we're going to go all the way to this top here. So it's quite a long work to go until you get to here. When you finish your final 4 treble crochets in here, come back and join me and we will pretty much finish off our project, because we're going to leave the top of this work with that darker color that looks like the border already. Okay, so go ahead and finish your border on this opposite side of the triangle. When you get there, come back and I'll show you guys how to finish off and complete our shawl. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, so we're just at the final step here of finishing our border with this cream color. So you have done my cluster of the treble crochet here, so the box is created there, and to finish it off we're going to do another one here. So we're going to start with our slip stitch and then chain 4, and then followed by 3 treble crochets to create our box in this space. And then we are done. So this is pretty much the final step here for this project. Okay, just like that. And then what we're going to do here, just to close it off, is we're going to do a slip stitch right in here, just like that. Okay, so I'm gonna cut this yarn off, and then we're going to pull that up here just like that. Okay, so just so quickly you can see that this end here is like the other one. Let me see if I can find the other end here. So this is the other corner of this. So this is pretty much this part here, that part here. Okay, and oops, it's a little bit off camera, so there you go. So that's the end here, and we have the strands here, or the tails. So what I do with my tails, I don't weave them in. So what I will do is I'll just do the knots here, and then we can just cut that off. So I'll do one knot like that, and I'll do another one. Oops. There you go. And then I'm going to cut these off right there. Okay, so that's the end of that, and then we have one more tail at the bottom, which is the beginning of our work here. And I'll do the same thing where I will knot that in here. Okay, and then we will cut it off, and then we are done. I'll cut that off here. just tuck the tail in here like this. So this is the end of the project here. So as you can see, this is how your work looks like. I really like that we did the border in a different color like this. It makes it pop. Okay, and you will see the border goes all the way around like this, and then we leave the top with that dark color all across to the other side, and then our border goes back down on the other side. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So thank you so much for joining me to make this corner to corner box stitch shawl. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for staying with me, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Ciao ciao.